Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Journey of You podcast. It's Chris and Felicia here today to give you this extra special episode of remembering how to access your joy. You know, joy is always available to us. And yet, when we're in the day to day and we're in the thick of things and we're running through our emotions or letting our emotions run through us, um, we might forget that joy is always available to us. And that's why we wanted to share this remembrance today and hopefully give each of you listeners, right, the exercise and practice to bring more joy into your life or remember how to bring joy back in and that it's here.
This is Joy, the Journey of You podcast. We're your hosts, Devin,
Chris,
and Felicia.
And we're here for joy.
This podcast is your permission slip to reconnect to your inherent joy and to embrace it.
Let's fill up the cosmic joy pot together as we dive into today's episode.
Okay, so through my human experience, I feel like we've all had the situations where we're stuck in our thoughts, the anxieties, the emotions, as we said, and fears. And we tend to block off without even knowing it. We block off our availability to joy and we spiral into the negatives, right? And so we may, right, tell ourselves a lot of stories about what is happening. We might make assumptions about what is happening. And without even verifying whether those assumptions are true, we just take them on as full truth. And in that state, we perpetuate our own stuckness. And then it can expand into full-blown, panic or anxiety attacks, right? I don't know how many listeners have experienced that, but they're fairly common enough. And when we're wearing these glasses of fear and judgment, when we're filtering our experience through the lens of fear and judgment, our nervous systems get so contracted. They get really tight. As we all know, when our nervous system goes into the sympathetic, right, we get into this fight or flight mode and we go into protective modes and we are in survival. And so we're in this state of low frequency, right? And all we can see and experience then is low frequency. And it feels really hard to get out of.
And the way I always envision it now is that when we're in this contracted state and our nervous system is so in fight and flight, it becomes impermeable, right? And there's all these opportunities and possibilities and different perspectives. They're all floating around us. Like the joy is floating all around us, right? But we're impermeable for it. We cannot receive it. And so when we relax our nervous systems, when we open up our spheres and we let that in, suddenly things become available to us, right? That were not even visible, even though they were right in front of our nose before, right? But our nervous systems are like, oh no, oh no, oh no. And it's like when our brainstem and our amygdala is so activated that we need our frontal lobe for our prefrontal cortex for creativity and to receive these opportunities, right?
And creativity is not just about creating,
no,
right? Or getting ideas to create. It's but ideas for everything, like opening up to possibilities is what Chris is saying. Like they're all around us, but when we're in that state, we don't see them. So that's what we're here for today, is to talk about how we can step back into that joy and ease our nervous systems enough such that we can notice the synchronicities. And when you're in that flow, like magic is happening all around us. And there's these glimmers, as we've called them before, right? Or as other people have called them, it's like the opposite of a trigger. It's like you notice all of these amazing moments that happen throughout the day for you, to you, through us, you. Right? and then the possibilities for joy are actually endless, abundant.
Absolutely. And it's like we can change the glasses we're wearing and we can see things from that that different perspective and just see it through the eyes of love. And when we do that, we cannot be in fear and in love at the same time. So when we choose the lens of love, then our nervous system loosens and relaxes, and yeah, like you said, just different information, completely different information becomes available in our filters because they were so tight before, and then they open up and it's like, wow, what's here, and
Well, and
so
sometimes like those filters can stem from these belief systems that have been
yeah,
with us for so long,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
And we may not even realize like that's how our default filter is. And
Mm-hmm.
so when we can start to become aware of that, when you can take a step back, oh, that's interesting. I had this thought. Like when you can be curious about the thoughts that you're having, right? That opens the portal, the gateway.
That already loosens the structure, right?
Yes,
Mm.
yes. And it's fascinating. Not saying it's always easy to do, right? Especially if you're in quite a stressed state.
Mm-hmm.
But remembering that this is available.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the thing
Yeah.
was, I used to think that when we do this exercise, what happens is that, different opportunities come your way, and there's people that you suddenly meet, and all these synchronicities that happen. But what also becomes available to us then is action that we can take, and it can feel like really crazy action steps, right? But they will like call a random person that you haven't talked to in 20 years, right? And if you resist that impulse, you're resisting the opportunity that will come through taking that action. So it's not just that things come into your sphere, into your awareness, but it's also actions that you can suddenly become aware of, and like, oh, I feel like doing that. And if you feel that, you follow that, because then, like a whole new world can open up, right?
Yes. Yes. How do you say a whole new world without singing the Disney song?
Oh.
This is my Disney brain. Okay. And it's funny how these things can exist so subconsciously, and they sneak up on you. So this week I'm out on the professional women's bowling tour. This is my first tournament for the season. And I decided a long time ago, I took the action. Funny you should mention that, right? I took the action to book a place by myself so I can kind of integrate, be in the space and have my own space and process or whatever I needed, right? It just felt right to book this place by myself. And I found this very cute loft here.
Cute.
Very cute. And,
you should do a room tour.
Oh, well, maybe later. And yesterday, as I got here the first night, I was starting to get panicky, and I was starting to feel anxious, like, oh my gosh, I made the wrong decision because it's so much more money to stay by myself, and I don't have that access to those funds, and I'm I can't even speak about it because I'm so blocked up. Right. And I was stepping into this full-blown kind of panic mode or anxiety attack, and operating as I would have 5 years ago or even 2 years ago. Okay. And I realized, like, I need help. I need someone to help me pull me out of this like drowny zone. And so I called a dear friend, and thankfully she was available. And she helped me just ask some questions, right? This curiosity standpoint, like, okay, well, have you actually calculated your expenses? I was like,
what? Why
no,
would I do that?
I haven't. Like,
it's so much easier to spin off.
Oh my gosh. And tell myself every kind of witch story. And in the meantime, right, when I first got here, I was like, wow, look at how pretty this is. It has real plants. And the one plant that I'm obsessed with right now is the Monstera plant, and it's everywhere here.
I was just gonna say,
there's 3 big Monstera plants, and I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And there's these books, there's Harry Potter on the shelf, like right there. And I'm a big fan of Harry Potter, and they have the complete book series, and they have crystals here. Like, this place was made for me, essentially. And I was spinning out, being like, I don't. And in talking to this friend, I realized the story that I had from youth, from childhood. It's like, I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy of staying here by myself, of spending this money on myself. Like, I'm not deserving. And as I was talking about it, I was like, well, this is still here. This is still here. Like, I've realized this story, this narrative, this belief system many, many, many times. And in that moment, when I was going into panic, it was so true. It was so real that I couldn't even see what the root of it was. And as we got to talking, it's funny, like, I'm not going to not stay here. I'm not going to find a roommate in the next day. I'm spending this money. Like, do I want to spend this time in panic?
And ruining it for yourself.
Like, missing everything. Or do I want to breathe and be truly present here and ground myself and enjoy all of these lovely things that I've already spent the money on? Like, there's no giving it back at this point. Right? And what if abundance comes to me in other ways I couldn't have imagined? Because I went through this experience. I allowed myself to feel the feelings, like maybe a bit too much, but
they were what they were. Yeah,
we felt them. And then also choose a different way with, the help of calling that friend. I wasn't in a space to do it myself. So I said, okay, it's okay to reach out for help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what I am noticing now as you share this is that a lot of people, including myself, in these past weeks especially, have had old patterns wash up. And like, they come to the surface like, hello, I shall see you one last time. let me be felt, and I will say goodbye. And then it's like, and it's less intense than it used to be, a lot less, but it's from like really old things, right? And they come up and they bubble up, and then they're gone. And I feel it's like a release at the moment that's going on, and really powerful. So I love that you really integrated this so powerfully, and that you are in this magical place. And I can't wait to see what you will attract by enjoying it, like really enjoying it.
Yeah,
super cool.
We're working on it, right? And there's moments, even though I've made this choice, there's still pockets of things that show up, like, oh, Felicia, guilt, shame, right? Like, okay, that, like, maybe that's like a smaller wave, and I don't have to ride it for so long. Like 2 years ago, I had a similar experience, which is why like, as I was talking to that friend, it came back that, like, oh, 2 years ago, I had a similar experience, and it lasted for 3 days.
See? And that's what I mean. Like, it gets so much quicker, and it bubbles up. And I mean, of course, we have different tools now, and we don't feel like we need to soak in the misery for that long before we reach out to somebody. We have people who we can reach out to also. That's not always, that didn't always used to be the case.
Guilt
yeah,
for not reaching out, right?
Yes.
Or I would stay in guilt because I didn't want to reach out, because I wouldn't want to put that burden on someone. Right. And now it's like, okay, that's not what it actually is.
No.
We live in this community of beautiful things, that we've attracted beautiful people in our lives for these reasons, so we can mutually help support each other through
these times,
these ebbs and flows.
Absolutely.
Beautifully put, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah. And the story I want to share is actually the perspective change that I had, and the reason why I offer transition coaching now, which is that, I work in a lab, and it's in psychiatric research, and I work with animal models of rats and mice, right? And I think it was 2019, 2020, when I realized, even though this topic feels super important, depression and schizophrenia, it feels super important to me. I know the research is important. I cannot work with animals anymore. Like, I cannot. And I used to be super judgmental about people who come to our group and say, but we can't work with animals. And I was like, well, why do you even want to be here? Right. So my only logical conclusion was to leave the lab, but my coaching practice hadn't been set up enough to switch with ease. So I was really tight. I was like, I cannot stay there. I cannot stay there. Literally, like I went home crying almost every day and I just could not bear it. And yeah, in a coaching session with my coach back then, we looked into this and what became available then, because we calmed the nervous system and we looked at the higher perspective. And it's so crazy. At that time, I was already working on what's called a systematic review, where you look at the publications of, like, since something was established, whatever, and you look at everything, you create a huge database and you publish the database and the content. And I was already doing that. And so what became obvious was that I can do that instead of work with animals directly. So I can harvest old data, I can save animals, I can find the best protocols that are the least stressful for the animals. I can create publications without spending any money. I can help students learn how to do this. I mean, there was like so many wins in that situation. It was mind-boggling, right? And I was working on it already, but my nervous system was so tight that I didn't see it, even though it was like in my face.
In front of your face. Yeah.
Like in front of my face.
It's so funny how that works. Like when you're that tight, all you can see is the bad.
Yes.
All you can see is
it's the no.
Yes, like how terrible you feel and all of the roadblocks and you're stuck in them. That's such a beautiful example, Chris. You were already doing it.
I know. And the cool thing was, when I was so stuck, I thought, wow, like, how do I tell my team? How do I tell my boss? Because I myself had been so judgmental. I didn't expect anything but that, right? But when I told them, they were completely open for it. They were so supportive. And I remember I almost cried because I was like so grateful and it was so unexpected. But it's because it was my soul truth, right? I was meant to do this. And so it's aligned for everybody. And it's so magical to coach people through that, especially when it's like right here.
And you don't, that's the beauty also of coaching. It's like you don't give the answers.
No.
We help them regulate a system enough
to receive the answers
become obvious.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And what I love about that also is when we're in states like that, or when we're in the negative, we also make up stories about how other people are going to respond to us, like your coworkers. And what you said, when you're in your soul aligned truth, not from the egoic perspective, when you know in your heart of hearts that this is right, like even a small decision for me of, well, and feeling big because of the payment of it, right? That decision to stay by myself felt so right. It was like every cell in my body was like, yes. You must, you must. And I've ignored that in the past. And it's felt very icky.
Yeah, especially when you're on tournaments and you have space for yourself and you can be in your own energy, you can be completely differently focused than when you're sharing a room, a space with somebody and you're constantly adjusting. It's not the same kind of preparation, right?
Right. And so when you're in that soul aligned truth, how you stand in that truth, how you communicate it, how you speak it, and then how people receive it is completely different than it's like when it's from an egoic truth.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And all of those fears then, like, even if they're still there,
right? But you don't speak from them.
Yeah, the energy is different. The how you come across is different. How you act and speak, move is different.
Yeah, and like that. And that's like you raise your frequency to that point, and the world responds in that frequency, right? And when you speak from your egoic truth, you trigger all the other egos, right? And
Yes,
so
and
everybody's
you're
like,
like this.
yeah,
Everyone's like, we're holding on to
fear,
this
fear,
for dear
fear.
life.
Yes,
Death, death, death. Like,
ego.
feels like you're gonna die.
Yes, ego
Yes.
death. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so shall I lead us through a short process to tune into higher perspectives?
Mm.
So first, I would love for you, if you are able to do so and not driving, which would be awesome, to close your eyes and just take a deep breath and connect to a situation where you are less than happy at the moment. It can be a situation, can be a relationship, it can be your bank account, it can be anything that triggers you. And just notice the stories that you create around that situation and see them flying around you like yarn being wrapped around you and twisting you in. And then take another deep breath and let that go. And I invite you to take one hand and put it on your forehead and one hand to put it on the back of your head. This is called the neurovascular hold, and it activates your prefrontal cortex, your frontal lobe of the brain, where you have your creativity, where you open up to possibilities. And it calms down the brainstem and the amygdala, where you have all those fears and worries and anxieties and all of that. So just breathe into that and imagine you're breathing into your forehead and it's starting to sparkle and be energized. Just take a couple of breaths here. And notice your body relaxing. And imagine your nervous system opening up and relaxing. And then you relax your hands again. And imagine you can rise above this situation. You can rise above and see it from the eyes of love. Just imagine you are love and you are safe and everything is possible. You have let go of all of the stories and are opening up to receive new information from this perspective. And what becomes available to you? What do you become aware of? Choose to receive that. And maybe there's also an action that wants to be taken to make this new perspective your reality. Maybe something becomes obvious to you, and if so, commit to taking that action. Choose to take that. And also anchor in this more relaxed state of your nervous system and become more permeable for experiences of joy and opportunities to spread joy. When this feels complete, I invite you to take a deep breath and gently open up your eyes again. Rub your hands together and then come back to the room. There's that.
The body feels just a little bit like floaty.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were floating up
It's
above.
it's very obvious to me that like I have to run some energy practices today to get some stuff moving,
Mm,
to even allow more in and just fully release, the experiences of last night,
mm,
and maybe do some physical practices like breath of joy, that kind of thing, to just get it moving, and then do some grounding and some
mm,
energy work, just to recharge the
mm,
system,
mm.
get some fresh flow going through both blood and energy and oxygen, all those things, right?
Where are you at
Um,
again now at the moment?
so I'm in Colorado.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe you can also go
it's
outside.
correct.
Mm,
Yes.
mhm,
Yeah, it's a little bit chilly, but it still smells so fresh
mhm.
that like it just is
Spring. Mhm, mhm,
invigorating. Yeah.
mhm,
And so that was kind of the obvious action for me to take, is like
mhm,
get some air,
mhm,
get some movement,
mhm.
and then see what else becomes obvious
Available.
and
Yeah.
available in
Mhm.
that state.
Awesome. Because situations like that, when we are in such an anxious state, like that is a ton of tension in the body. Like your body has so much energy in, it attracted so much energy that it's holding in the system. And if you would be an animal and you were running away from a predator, you
Right.
would you would
From that
shake it out.
fear.
Yeah, you would shake it
Mhm.
out when the threat has passed. But we don't do that, right? We sit in front of the screens and we do our
Or even like
sedentary
trying
things.
to journal about it.
Yeah, no, but
Like
it's
it's not
it's
the same.
it's no, because it's physical energy. It's like electricity,
Mm-hmm.
and you're a
Mm-hmm.
battery that's like filled to the burst.
Like charged. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that was nice.
Hmm. Beautiful.
What did you experience while you were writing these down?
I felt like I was a cloud of love, and I was just
Mm.
holding that space for everybody um doing the practice, right? So I didn't really see or experience anything. I was just holding that loving space. So yeah, I can do it again when I
Beautiful.
listen
Yes,
and
do.
see what
And
comes up.
listeners, we would love to hear what you experienced during that beautiful practice that Chris just guided us through. Um, and also invite you, like, as we said, when we're in that fear and anxiety state, right? Some of the tools that we learn, the things that we've practiced, they just kind of leave our brains temporarily. And so, the invitation here also is to reach out to people
Mhm.
who love you unconditionally, who trust you, who
Who you
support you,
trust. Mhm.
who you trust. And if that's not available, right, see if you can breathe and just start asking what if questions.
Mhm.
Start asking some curious questions. Go for a walk, right? Just things that can, even if it's a small shift,
Mhm.
right? The tiniest thing can create such big impacts.
Mhm.
And
It's
if you
like
just
cracking
ask
the door
one
open.
question, yeah, like just asking one question could crack that door
Mm.
and let you breathe just a little easier, to like, oh, okay, there's a different way.
Mm. Yes. Yeah, and if all of that doesn't happen, we're obviously here for you as well. But yeah, we would love to hear and also share any thoughts, any comments that you have on this and experiences. We would love to hear. And
And we hope that in that you can be open to the possibilities of joy.
yes, amen. Perfect
Mm.
words for ending. And we shall see you again in the next episode. I hope I will be there. I don't know yet for sure, but I
I
hope so.
hope so too.
Okay. Take care, everybody, and see you
Bye.
then.